Hello, everyone, and welcome to the final series of Chapter 10 Communication. So, we're going to be talking about blogs and wiki social networking sites and forum. Okay, so let's look at your web blogs, what you call your blogs. They are personal internet journals, okay, where the writers or bloggers will just type in observations on topics. Okay, for example, it could be a review about a latest movie release. Perhaps you provide links to some relevant websites. Blogs tends to range from minor projects such as performance of a rock star, hip hop star, etc., etc., right? Through to important social issues. Okay. However, the comment mix on blogs are not immune from the law. Bloggers can still be prosecuted for writing offensive materials. So, what are the features of blogs? They are updated on a regular basis by the author, usually organized in reverse chronological order, that is based on recent to least recent entry. Normally public, anyone can read them, and entries normally come from a single author or multiple authors, as the case may be. Other internet users cannot change blogs, they can only read them. Okay, then we have the microblogs, right? The microblogs are often used on social networking sites to make short and frequent posts. Now, for the web blog, you have to create a website for it. For the microblog, you just have to use a social networking site for it. Okay, the blog can be done using your instant messaging, your emails, or other social networking vehicles such as tweets, your Instagram, etc., etc. Social networking sites use microblog to allow members to update their personal profile. For example, another version is what we call a B blog, short form for what is called a business blog, which is used by businesses to promote themselves on the internet. Well, let's talk about wikis, right? So wikis are web applications or websites that allow any users to create or edit their web page using any web browser. So that's wikis, right? So they are more or less applications, their websites. It can allow you to just create and edit. Okay, a wiki will support hyperlinks and uses a very simple syntax known as called the wiki markup or to create web pages. They often be described as web pages with an edit button. So what are the features of wiki? Anyone can edit, delete, or modify the content. Many authors can be involved in a wiki. Okay, it is possible to organize a page any way the author wishes. It can keep track of all entries that is stored, the list of your document histories. It can be easily edited, right, using what we call the web browser. It allows large documents to be seen by many people. It is easier than emailing 7 people. Okay. Social networking sites. Let's talk about it. Focus on building online communities. That is social networking. It's focused on building online communities of users who share the same interests and activities. Okay. They enable people to share photos, videos, music, hobbies, favorite eating place, and so on. Okay, the members do this by creating public profiles and they'll form relationship with other users. Okay, now what are the features of social networking site? So each member of the social networking site is provided with what we call a free web space. Okay, each member can build their own private and public profile. It is possible to upload content such as text messages, photos and videos. It is possible to write up each other wall. Members are given free instant messaging and video chatting. It is possible to email other members within the community. Members can create pages where they can post photos, articles, and so on. It is possible to invite people to become friends. Members have control over who can access their private or personal data. Now, all this is, in fact, if you're looking at Facebook as a case study, they all have all what we are talking about. Probably for the emailing part, if they have their email set up, you can actually email them, right? Then the next one is phone. Let's talk about a moderated forum and an unmoderated forum. Now, a moderated forum refers to online discussion forum in which all posts are checked by an administrator before they are allowed to be posted. Many users prefer this type of forum because compared to unmoderated ones, as the moderator can only prevent spam, but can also filter out any posts that are inappropriate, rude, or offensive. and even though that wonders of, or even those that wonders of the main topic. Internet is essentially a huge unmoderated forum. Okay, no one owns the internet. This is true, right? It is essentially not policed. The only real safeguard are the voluntary cooperations between the users and the network operators. However, most social forums or networking groups on the internet have a set of rules, okay, or protocols that members are requested to follow, or they will be deleted. Okay, so that's another beauty about the social forum or the networking group, because they have these rules that you have to follow. Okay, let's look at the functionality of the internet, right? And one functionality of the internet is what we call the internet service providers. Okay, and it's majorly a company that provides users with access to the internet. Okay, it is normally to pay a monthly fee for this service. When a user registers with an ISP, an account is set up and they're given login details that includes a username and a password. Okay, an ISP has equipment, telecommunication line required to access the internet. Okay, web address, URLs, hyperlink, web browsers. Well, for a web browser, it is a software that allows a user to display a web page on their screen. They interpret or translate the HTML from site, and they show the result of that translation. This can be in the form of videos, images, or sound. Okay. Now, most web browsers have the following features. They have a home page. They have the ability to store your favorite web page. Talking about bookmarks, they keep history of the website visited. This is known by what we call history. Okay, they allow users to navigate. There's that navigation aid between websites. They have hyperlinks that allow to navigate to other web pages or between web pages. Okay, and of course, most hyperlinks are shown as blue underlined text, or use a small picture as a pointed finger under a phrase or image to show that that particular text or image is hyperlinked. Web browsers use what we call the uniform resource locators to access websites, retrieve the files, and etc. URLs are text addresses used to access these websites. Okay, so this URL is being typed in into the browser web address bar. Okay, using the following format. So let's talk about the formats. The first one is the protocol, which is your HTTP, right, or your HTTPS. Then we have the colon, the 2/4/, and then we have the website address. Okay, and then the website address can be in the form of your domain host. Okay, and that is the name of the website. So the domain host is www dot, the name of the address, and of course the domain type. So that is what these are the things that are involved in the website address. Sometimes a country code as well. Okay, then we have the path. Now the path is a web page. Okay, if it's omitted, then it is then the root directory of the website. So that's the path, right? That is the folder in which you want to get whatever files you want to get, which is the file name, and the file name is the item, okay, of the web page. For example, we have HTTPS colon / the name of your school, and of course slash maybe admission / whatever. Okay, now an error will occur if any part of URL is incorrect. Usually the HTTP 404 will display on your computer screen. Let's talk about use of search engines. Okay, one of the most useful and powerful aspects of the internet is the ability to search throughout vast amount of information on almost any given topic. There are basically two ways of locating information from the internet, right? The first way is to type in the URL, that if you know the name of the website you wish to access. The second method is to use the search engine if you do not know exactly where that information is located. Let's look at this. Open your website from URL, that is type in the name of your school, for example, and it takes you there, and this is that is the web address bar. Okay, now like I said, I've discussed the URL contains the protocol, then the website address, which contains your domain, the name of the website, and of course the domain type. Okay, to a web address. And if you're wondering, you can see it right here in chapter 238, right, which is the domain host, domain name, and the domain type. Okay, now if you know the URL for the page within the web page, you can try typing the full entry into your web browser to get a particular one. However, if you don't know, you can open it through what we call a search engine to find what you are looking for, right? But they all have one common underlining feature. That is, they look up the word entered in the search box in their database, okay, of web pages to find out which of them match the search string or criteria. Now, in the search box, you will see that this is google.com, which is a search engine. We have Bing and etc, right? Okay, so you can type it right there. And for example, what are you looking at? Maybe the search word is ICT textbook, and when you type it, it brings out what we call, this is about 86 million hits, okay, or result as the case may be, right? And you can see right here on web pages that can be found. The hits means the web pages 86 million which can be found, and that's really too much, right? So this sort of information, we can narrow it down by what do? We're going to add a plus. So ICT textbook plus holder plus IGCSE, and we can now get a much reduced selection. I think this is about 268,000, okay, results or web page from 86 million. Okay, now if you still want to reduce it or narrow it down, you can go to the advanced search. You click on the advanced search right there on the settings on the advanced search, and once you've done that, okay, you can now get the exact word or phrase, okay, so which is the author of that textbook. And if you do that, now, although they said you can add the step if it's known, it will search for both words together, not just for, so you add the plus. The plus means to see together. It will search for both of them together, not just one. When you give space, it will search for them individually. Okay, so once this information is found, you can save it as your favorites, and you can access them when required. All right, you can add it as hyperlinks in a document. You can bring it as hyperlinks in a document. An image of a web page can be saved using print screen, okay, or you can take a snipping tool for that. Information of a web page can also be copied and pasted into other documents. It is important to acknowledge the source of information when using information from a website in your own work, both to avoid plagiarism and because the information will be subject to what we call copyright. Okay, so what are the advantages of using the internet to find information? Information on the internet tends to be up to date because it is quicker and easier to amend web pages than it is, for example, books. Okay, the internet has vast and almost limitless amount of information. Okay, searching for information using a search engine is fast and easy. People can look for information in the comfort of their own home. Okay, information on the internet is essentially free of charge, and pages on the internet can have multimedia elements, for example, video, sounds, music, sound of music, voiceover, animations, etc. Disadvantages, on the other hand, could be the internet is not regulated, so anything can be posted on the web page, okay, and the information can be biased or totally incorrect. Okay, there's always a risk of accessing inappropriate websites when using search engine. Okay, this can take many forms and can be very distressing to certain people. All right, yeah. It is too easy to be distracted when searching on the internet. Users can find computer games, social networking instead of doing their work, and there's always a risk of information overload. That is, the user lacks the necessary experience or expertise when using the search engine. Because it is very easy to copy materials on the internet, there is a huge temptation to plagiarize materials. And of course, research skills are lost when using the internet, as search engine does all the work for you. Okay. Why internet search are not always the fast way of finding information? Well, just to bring down this, each when using search engine, there's always the danger of information overload. Okay, it is possible to find millions of websites that will match the given criteria unless the user will narrow down their search, which takes a long time to find exactly what you're looking for. How to evaluate information found on the internet? How do you evaluate information found on the internet? Is it possible to verify the legitimacy of who wrote the material? Is there a way to check if the information is factually correct? Is the article objective, talking about, is there any form of biasness to it? Is the information dated? Is it up to date? Okay. Who is it reviewed by? By whom? Does the article covers all aspects, or are all arguments fully supported? Does the website even look legitimate? Okay. Does all links websites still work? So we're going to look at internet protocol. So let's look at it, the internet protocol, transfer protocol, right? And it is essentially a set of rules that must be obeyed when transferring website data across the internet. That's what the HTTP means, right? Set of rules that must be obeyed when transferring websites data across the internet, okay? And of course, when the web page is being accessed, you have to enter your HTTP at the front of the address that tells the web browser that this is a HTTP rule, okay? Now, the next one is the file transfer protocol, and it is a network rule. Okay, now just a quick one. We have the HTTP and we have the HTTPS. The HTTPS, which is often seen along with the padlock, the S means secured. For the FTP, which is the file transfer protocol, it's the network protocol that is used when transferring files from one computer to another computer, okay, over the internet. It is similar to the HTTP, but the protocol is specifically for the transfers of files. Whereas for the HTTP, it is the rule that must be obeyed when you're transferring data across the internet, okay, not when you're uploading to your website. The secure socket layout that allows data to be sent and received securely over the internet, okay. It is designed to work with the communication protocol like HTTP and of course your FTP. When used, a user will have to log into a website as normal, but the SSC will encrypt the data so only the user and the web server are able to make sense of what is being transmitted. And that's what they're used for online shopping, etc., sending and receiving of mails, using the cloud storage, voice over internet protocol, okay, and even the use of social networking sites, okay, as much as possible. Okay, I think we are done. Internet risk, it will prevent illegal materials from there, and etc, etc. So yes, okay, talking about argument against internet risk, right? Which is yes, which is no. Okay, now I'm just going to look at it quickly. Now they said many of the risks associated with using the internet can be raised, okay, as long as user takes all the precautions covered in this book. Yeah, the internet, their internet experience is going to be blissful. Unfortunately, the internet does contain what we call inappropriate materials, some of which is criminal in nature. Many users seem to think that because the internet is not police, that they are, unlikely to be prosecuted. This is a cause of this is of course untrue. To prevent inappropriate material, there are some things we need to talk about, right? We have to, it will prevent, if the internet were to be policed or to be strictly monitored, it will prevent illegal material from being posted on websites, and some form of control would prevent children and other vulnerable groups being subject to undesirable websites, including criminal materials. Some form of control would stop incorrect information from being published on websites. But this is arguments in favor of internet control, right? Well, material published on website is already available from other sources. It will be very expensive to police all websites, and user will have to pay for this somehow. It will be difficult to enforce rules and regulation on a global scale. At different countries, we have different laws. It can be argued that policing the internet would go against the freedom of speech, and many topics and comments posted on websites are already illegal, and laws already exist to deal with offenders. Who is to decide what is illegal offensive? Many things are often offensive to certain people. For example, religious comments, but not necessarily to the majority. So I think this brings us to the end of communication. In our next video, we're talking about file management, or we're looking at the key things, which is part of the practicals in paper 3. Thank you very much, and please give a like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Bye.